Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Syafiqah binti Saimi and my matric number is 214854. Today, me and my other school member will be present about prison institution. So the first one I will discuss is history of prison institution. During the era of British rule and until the arrival of the Japanese in 1942, the penal institutions were the responsibility of the individual states' governments with their respective regulation. The state settlements were the earliest to build their own prison, while the Federate Malay state did so only after the British set up a responsible department. The Taiping prison, known as Taiping Gaol, is the largest prison in the Malay state. Prisons were built in the main purpose of bringing suffering to the prisoners. In 1881, safe warder were brought in to assist Malay warder while vocational instructor from Hong Kong introduced the concept of trade to the prisons. These attempts were made to categorize the prisoners. In 1889, the Europe Guard were appointed to the several prisons. With this establishment of the Federal Malay State, Taiping Prison became a detention center for long-term prisoners from Perak, Pahang, Negeri Sembilan, and Selangor. In 1923, a visiting justice system was introduced and prison industry expanded to include printing work, weaving, sewing, rattan weaving, and metal work. After the Second World War, the prison office was established to administer all prisons in Malaya. The post-war era saw the return of peace. So, the modern methods were introduced. The emergency in 1948 led to an increase in the number of prisoners, resulting in the overcrowding of prisons. In 1952, the Prison Act was enacted, followed by the Federal Prison Regulation in 1953, which was based on the concept of modern treatment. These laws were introduced to replace the old regulation. In 1957, when the Federation of Malaya gained its independence, the first Commissioner of Prisons was appointed to administer all the prisons in the Federation. So, the Prison Act 1995 was enacted on 2 November 1995 to replace the old Prison Act. The Prison Regulation 2000 came into effect on 1 September 2000 to replace the previous regulation. Over here are the organization structure of Malaysia Prison Department.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nur Shakira binti Muhammad and my matrix number is 214582. So today I'm going to talk about the functions of prison department. The administration of justice in Malaysia is enforced by the police, judiciary, and the prison. These agencies are separated in the sense of administration and jurisdiction, but they are related in their functions. The first functions of prison department is to protect the public by isolating offenders as the court have ordered. The second one, to carry out judicial decisions by keeping the prisoner in custody until their scheduled release date. The third one, to provide offender in department custody with a secure, orderly, and humane treatment environment. And the last one, to rehabilitate offenders so that they can reclaim their self-respect, self-identity, and thus eventually return to their community as law-abiding. Various actions have been taken by the institution to make sure that the objective and the functions are successfully achieved. To put it in another way, this is where the prison departments come into action. So, the main principle that must be followed in treating inmates. Discipline and order shall be maintained with fairness but firmness, with no more restriction than is required for safe custody, and to ensure a well-ordered community life. In order to gain the willing of cooperation from prisoners, prison officers should try to influence them by their own examples and leadership. The treatment toward the convicted prisoners should be such as to encourage them to rebuild their self-respect and self-identity, and help them to remember their self-responsibility, help them to rebuild them morally, and help them to be good citizens so that they can lead a good and useful life in future after release. So next, how to rebuild the prisoner morally, give them useful work. This can only be done after getting the medical officer permission under Rule 74, Prisoner Rules 1953 to make sure that the works are fit for them.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aima Jazima binti Muhammad Johari Hisham, 210382. Today I'm going to present about the legal personnel and job specification. So let's take a look at the first point. This first point is about safety and intelligence. This part of job, they will coordinate and ensure the administration of prison security. Also, they will coordinate all activities of management of offenders. And the third one, they will conduct intelligence and investigation. And the last one, they will censor or classify information for internal and external use. The second one is International Affairs and Transfer Division. This part, they have two types under it, which is the first one is for foreign prisoners, and the second one is for the Malaysian prisoner. But the job specification is kind of similar, which is they will manage agreements with other countries. Also, they manage the application for transfer, and they manage the process of transferring and the documentation relating to the process, and also they will coordinate and monitor the statistics. Third job is inmates management. Inmates management have three subtopics under it, which is the first one is moral rehabilitation of inmates. The second one is treatment of inmates, and the third one is medical treatment for inmates. So, moral rehabilitation of inmates, they will conduct rehabilitation programs to improve their physical and mental their mental condition to their morality. The second one is treatment of inmates. This treatment of inmates, they will ensure that inmates are treated according to their health, their basic needs, familiar, also the social relationship, but it in line with the guidelines that prescribed by the UNSMR. What is UNSMR? UNSMR is the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the treatment. And the last one is medical treatment for inmates. This medical treatment for inmates is to ensure that inmates that who requires to get any treatment like their health, so they can get the opportunity for that to receive the treatment at the prison clinics or the hospital near the prison. So for the last one is para and community service. This type of job, they will assist inmates to adapt in the society. The second one, they give inmates a second chance to have a better life in the future, which is all, as we all know, that everyone deserves a second chance. So inmates also deserve a second chance. This part of job, they will help the inmates to build their future into their better life. The last one is to conduct a para program under the supervision of trained para officers. So that's all from me. I will pass my presentation to the next member. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Farah Nabila binti Omar and my metric number is 214429. Today, I will be presenting to all of you about the cases that have been dealt by Malaysian Prison Department. The first case is about a single mother with 9 children was sentenced to death for meth possession. The suspect, Harun Jalmani, a 55-year-old fishmonger, was convicted for possessing 113.9 grams of methamphetamine on 15 October 2018 at Tawau High Court in Sabah, Malaysia. Under Malaysian law, Malaysia's Dangerous Drug Act 1952, those who found in possession of over 15 grams of methamphetamine face a mandatory death penalty. This incident has ignited fierce debate on women's rights and capital punishment in Malaysia. Based on Amnesty International report, until February 2019, as many as 1,281 people were reported to be on death row in Malaysia due to the drug trafficking law. According to that agency, Jalmani's case is an example how Malaysia's death penalty punishes the poor with particular discriminations against women, as women who have been subjected to violence, abuse, and exploitation have little to no chance to get these factors taken into account at sentencing. Thus, the senior vice chairman of Malaysia Crime Prevention Foundation, Tan Sri Lee Lam Thai, also said that the socio-economic factors such as poverty and lack of employment opportunities were some reasons for drug use among the fishermen. It also appealed to the Malaysian government to repeal the mandatory death penalty for all offences. Okay, so for the next case, it's about a 20-year-old guy who was sentenced to 21 months of jail for criminal intimidation and possession of pornographic materials. Vishnu, the suspect, as in the picture, he had admitted his crime on 3 August 2020 at Bayan Lepas that he had threatened the mother and the sister of the victim to leak the victim's nude photos on the internet. If the victim refuses to have sex with him or to break their relationship or simply refuse to give him money. This has resulted the victim to commit suicide by jumping off from her 22nd floor of her condominium unit. Therefore, the accused young man has been charged with 3 charges over him. As the first charge, he had threatened the sister of the late victims in the first place, followed by the mother of the late victim by threatening them to circulate the nude photos of the victim in the internet. Okay, on August 4, the accused have been picked up from Padang Rengas, Kuala Kangsar, where police confiscated his mobile phone and found explicit photos of other of his victims as well. Besides, the police also found out that he would use the same tactic to his other victims that he met via Facebook. The result of the case, Vishnu was sentenced to 21 months of imprisonment and charged for criminal intimidation and pornographic possession that amounts to 17,000 ringgit under the section 506 of the Penal Code for criminal intimidation and another under section 29A of the same code for possession of pornographic materials.
So, the third case is about a married man sentenced 12 years jail for raping his sister. The guy was found guilty for raping his biological sister at their house, Tuaran, Kota Kinabalu. He admits that he raped his sister since she was 12 years old until January 2020. And the victim already told her sister, and one of them suggested her to make a police report, and it leads to the arrest of the accused. And the accused who was represented by his lawyer and asked for a lenient sentence, saying he was a first-time offender and was remorseful. Result of the case is 12 years jail and 10 lashes of rotan, convicted under Section 3763 of the Penal Code, which provide imprisonment for a term not less than 8 years and not over 30 years, and whipping of not less than 10 strokes of the rotan. That's all from us. Thank you.